Hello, everyone, and we're back. It's been such a long time. What are you going to do with that lemon? It's been a long time since we brought you a video. We've struggled over the last couple of years, going into a third year now with the pandemic and everything that's been going on. Everyone has struggled. Everyone has struggled. Everyone has had an issue or a problem. Um, People have been lost. People have been sick and ill and still have complications from that. And we just come to you today we want to talk about myself. I'm Dr. Renee Stanley, and this is Dr. Hall. And I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about herself. And we've been working together for years for reentry, but we want to talk about those people because I think the reentry population is forgotten about a lot. So, Dr. Hall, please tell them about yourself a little bit. We're on YouTube and we're on Facebook.
Hello, YouTube and Facebook, and to all our listeners. I am Zarita Hall. I am an instructor at the local university. I teach community corrections, institutional corrections, juvenile justice. I am also a sex offender therapist. And my goal is to always be a service to our population. Uh, those that have been affected by our justice system and just to our students, anyone that's in the community that has a desire to help, especially those that have been affected by our justice system.
Great. Thank you. And let's share a little bit about how did we meet? Let's share that.
How did we meet? It's been so long ago.
Well, you were working parole,
Former parole officer for almost 15
parole
years.
officer,
Yes.
and the clients that will come into my home, you were their officer.
Absolutely.
And I'm telling you, it was such a blessing because we were a village and we surrounded those women, and we were on top, working together with them to be successful. And and we have some great success stories down with some of the women we work with together.
Absolutely.
That was our first initial at the parole office on McCart, and working with these women coming out of parole. And we both have a heart for reentry, people coming home. So since then, well, actually June is the 19th year for Open Doors.
Wow.
We've been serving for 19 years.
Wow.
So first of all, I want to say thank you for everyone that's ever contributed. Thank you.
That's beautiful.
For my past board members, the founders that helped us found this. There are some that are still with us, a few, and the different churches and ministries that have come together to support us and lift us up and help us. So we thank you for that. 19 years. And then also we need to recognize this is Juneteenth.
Okay.
Juneteenth and freedom, which recidivism is, reentry is freedom. And this is freedom that we're celebrating through Juneteenth. And thank you, Miss Oakley, for bringing that forth, manifesting that vision. It's going to be all kinds of celebrations all over. So we're out here in Como, so I'll be at the Como Center celebrating with my community. So, but getting back to the lemon. The lemon is recidivism. How do we help those that are coming home, they're on probation, they're on parole, they got family members that's on their butt, they tired, they're taking care of you, they want you to get it together.
Absolutely.
And then you got people offering you the main thing that tempted you, either drugs or a female or a male, your weaknesses. And how do we support those people? How do we support them to prevent them from going back to prison? And then so we talk about boundaries. We talk about and how do you prevent them from going back? What? Because you were firsthand talking to the client on that side. We provided services on this side. We provide them housing, groups, and encourage them. Accountability was the biggest thing. And then the biggest thing was also a foundation with Jesus Christ and introducing them to Jesus.
Yes.
So what do you think?
My initial thought, I've kind of taken a personal poll over the years to see what is the main issue. and I have to come up with uh, relationships, whether it be the lack of good relationships or the wrong relationships. As we know, relationships will get you what money can't even get you. And so, whether it's those relationships with people that are trying to pull you back into an old lifestyle, again, it's still the wrong relationship. And the lack of, being in relationships with being with people like, Dr. Stanley, myself, others that are doing, trying, at least trying to make a difference, hold up some good values, some good morals that will hold you accountable. So I would have to say relationships, yeah, would by hands down be the main thing that is mainly causing recidivism.
Yeah. So right now, the good thing after the pandemic, people they don't want to work. People don't, even the people that don't have backgrounds, they don't
Mm-hmm.
want to work, and so people are working from home. So the job market is to advantage to people with backgrounds.
Absolutely. One
So
of the
yeah,
I don't mean to cut you off.
that's okay.
One of the things that I found out recently in one of our neighboring cities is that they were foregoing the I don't want to say, not necessarily say the background check, but the whole prison experience. Obviously, there are certain things that they couldn't take because they needed people to work so bad. And it was a situation where, again, like she said, people that didn't have a background were walking off jobs, not wanting to work, to where the prison population or the ex-offender population was the targeted group that we can say, hey, come get these jobs, we'll pay you, give you benefits, that type of thing. Um, so again, relationships. Who do you know that will have an in with certain companies to make that even possible for you?
Mhm. Yes. So I see people coming in the door saying, I got a background. I got a
Mm-hmm.
background. So, it's power in the tongue, and James, it's power in the tongue when we speak on ourselves.
Yes.
So don't limit yourself. You just go out there and be proud of yourselves and show a person what you can do on a job and
Mm-hmm.
go for that. And then I'm telling you, as a manager, uh, most time if I like you, I'll they'll make a way to hire you. Okay. If they like you, they will hire you. And you gotta show up and work. So we and don't just get comfortable with the situation. I've had
Mm-hmm.
people, they start working, they making a little money. Now you want to get a little attitude
Mm-hmm.
and not behave yourself on these jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So always be humble, and I'm telling y'all, don't put that mark on yourself.
Absolutely.
And you do have to kind of test yourself on what you share with
Of
people.
course.
I mean, we don't tell you to put yourself out there, but you got to be conscious of who are you sharing your real background with, some
Mm-hmm.
of the things that they might be uncomfortable with. So please just be on guard with that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to tell you to lie. We had a guy, he's been in prison for over 20 years, and he went and got a job, didn't tell him his background,
Mm-hmm.
and then he worked for 3 weeks and they let him go. And see, when you go through that process, then you get depressed, you get upset, and then but you got to work now. And then so you just gotta. I can't tell you how to do that, but I'm just saying that's some of the issues, some of the barriers with that. Anything else you want to add to
Well,
that?
well, and if our, we do have some listeners that are hearing this that would say, hey, I do need help disclosing my background. That is something that I work with clients with all the time. How do I disclose this? Uh, I work with a lot of people that think they are absolutely nothing because of their background, and just the building the self-esteem back up is a really big thing. So if it's somebody that, or if you're a community provider that would like to be in a position to help the people that you service on how do I disclose this? What words do I use? How do I put this in a resume that I've been to prison, or my job in prison? I've been in prison for 40 years and now I'm out. How do I actually build this resume? Again, that's the relationships I'm talking about. We're sitting here now because of the relationships we've had. someone helped us be here. And so it's only right for us to go out and show somebody else how to do the very same thing that we're doing. It's all about relationships.
And that's what we're commissioned to do. So here at Opening Doors for Women in Need, that's the nonprofit that I formed 19 years ago this month. We have a subdivision that's called Change Your Life the Nehemiah Project because we wanted to make it welcoming to men. But part of that is job readiness, and we do resumes for you, and we want you, because sometimes the window what managers look at, they look at that window that's missing. So you have to be able to explain that. So they're looking at this gap. Okay, you got a gap. So you got to be honest because that's like a red flag to us and go,
absolutely.
Well, what happened right here? So it's a gap in 5 years. It's a gap in 20 years. Okay, so and you can always put explain on interview on there. So just be forthcoming and be yourself and be confident in yourselves and then I think too when you have pro people a support system that you haven't drained and worn out that can lift you up and have a conversation. Because the one good thing about the women when they come back and they had a letdown and we have a conversation about it. Well, what do you think happened? Well, what did they say to you? Or even making them feel uncomfortable. So I took one young lady to she was supposed to go to an interview at McDonald's, and when we went in there, she came back and she was quiet, and then later on she told me the man, she heard him say retard. So it was all I could take to go back, and I just prayed about it. I let it go, but because she was okay with it, because she had some challenges, but for me it was made me more passionate about it because this is something she's had to deal with all her life.
Absolutely.
People putting a label on her and calling her things and not giving her opportunity to work. So those are things that we need to look at, and we need to be as providers, as Christians, as community and churches. We have to be able to support our people because they might be sitting on the back row, they might be sitting in the pews and not being transparent or not revealing to you what they're really suffering from. So I think those are barriers too, because we have people that come home from prison and they all hyped up because they met these people in church that was coming to the prison to visit them. And then when they show up wherever they are, then they're a little dismissive when you show up at the church house. Or because you got on dirty clothes or stinky clothes or you don't have a haircut. And I tell people now, you don't judge them, you just offer them a hygiene bag and a haircut. So, because we don't know what people are going through.
That's right.
And people come home from prison, they might not just be up to par. They might not look up to par in their clothes. So that's something that we have to be sensitive to. And even the homeless people, as they grow larger and larger in our city here, the homeless population, you have to judge yourself on how you're going to assist them. Some of them have been to prison. A lot of times they get dropped off on Lancaster at the shelters because they've been to prison. And if they're not on parole or probation, that's probably where they end up because they don't have any rules or restrictions. So, you judge yourself on how you think you could help that person. So if you don't feel comfortable, if you're afraid, you don't need to be trying to do that. You need to help support someone that's doing it, that's comfortable. What else would you like to add?
I would say to the providers, community members, make sure you continue to build up your resource bank. One of the things that I teach my students is how to actually read an email. Excuse me. And what I mean by that is we'll a lot of times get emails from different people inviting us to something or a class or whatever. And we'll immediately think, oh, I'm not going to that because that's not, kind of what I'm doing, or it's not for me, or no, I can't go. So I'll delete it. Don't delete it. Save it. You never know what will come up in life, in your profession, in business, that you will need it, and then you'll have it. Don't be so quick to discard things, as in I'm not doing this So get rid of it. You may not need a food bank. You may have all the food in the world. So obviously you don't need a food bank. But it may come a day that somebody will. Well, when somebody needs one, well, I don't know where I can find it. I don't know where I can find it. Well, you just deleted the email. So literally build up your resource bank if you plan on just helping anybody, because mental health services, free classes, free trainings, webinars in your spare time. How are you? And even for the providers too. The title of this is, what are you doing with those lemons? I want to do more. For those that are saying, I want to do more, but I don't feel like I'm qualified. Well, what are you doing about being qualified?
Right.
There's literally a YouTube will teach you how to help parent your kid, cook a meal, build a house, and go skydiving, all from the same platform. Like whatever you need, there's a video. Someone, the scripture says, there's nothing new under the sun. So someone has already traveled that path. We just got to go build our own resources to be able to do what it is that we think that we're supposed to step into. The Great Commission is, as we know, make sure that we are out doing those things with these people, building relationships, because it could be our son or daughter. It could be us.
It could be us.
And we'll be needing someone to help us. But what if they never did the work to build themselves up, turn their lemons into some good sweet lemonade, and they wouldn't have the resources? So it really will behoove us to do everything that we can, um, to make sure we have an arsenal for our communities.
Exactly. I love that. I love how you put that together. So,
One more thing.
okay.
Sometimes people, will actually think they're not qualified because of a background. So to the people that have been touched by our justice system, I'm not qualified, to go out and help, or no one is going to hear me. Or even if you're not on probation or parole, just you'll be surprised some of the members in our churches, in our communities, on our jobs, that feel like, well, I only have this little bit. I only know so much. Use what you have.
Exactly.
Use what you have. I cannot tell you how many clients, parolees that I've had that'll say, someone thinks this about me, so I might as well go ahead and do it. No, you might as well not go ahead and do it.
No.
Just because you can't pay all the fees, all the bills, all the this, even if you have, used drugs. Let me just even put it on that spectrum. When you want help, there are people that will actually help you get more, be more, do more, not do this, not do it quite as much. If you ask the typical smoker who was smoking, however many packs a day, smoking kind of wasn't my thing, or drinker, they were on 2 packs of beer. Well, they may not, everybody didn't quit cold turkey. And so therefore we can't judge because you didn't, you had to kind of titrate your beer or your cigarettes or whatever the thing may be. So we're in the business of helping where you are. Everybody's journey is so very different. I've seen that be another boundary, trying to be on somebody else's journey. That journey is not your journey. Journey your way.
One of the things I ask a person is, we ask them, we have a goal sheet, so we ask them, what are your goals? What do you want to do? What are your gifts? What are you good at? And a lot of people coming out of prison, they want to start their own businesses, and they have an idea in their head. And I said, well, let's make it happen. What does it take to make? What does it take? And right now, the funding is funds out there for reentry, for education, for training. These people are coming to me all the time saying, do you know anybody that wants to do this? And, forklift driving. Those are simple things that don't take long. And the CDLs, a lot of the girls, the ladies now going and getting the CDLs and driving those trucks and owning the trucks. So, it's up to you. One lady wanted to do housekeeping. She wanted to do cleaning, and she's good at it. And she started her business doing that. So, are selling the pop-up shops now. Are very popular, selling clothes even out of your trunk. They're not doing station brick and mortars anymore. They're selling stuff Doing the pop-ups are really popular. You go to an event, you set up your table, you set up your stuff and sell your stuff and pay your bills. And your own boss, your own boss. So please, if you don't, this is a win-win for you, but you got to be smart about it. You got to reach out. You have conversations with people and be humble, be nice, and and be honest, because I think one of the biggest things is behavior modification. You've been, if you're being out there in the streets and you used to hustling and doing things one way and this way, and then now somebody's telling you to do it a whole straight different way. But when I talk to people, they say, I love this. I've been missing out on living life like this. And then surrendering yourself spiritually, having a relationship with God. And we don't care what church it is, where you're going, just so you have a relationship with God. I mean, because so you got to, if you don't have family, but if you have a family relationship, or like she said, a relationship with personal, good, healthy relationship, then you got a job and you got a spiritual relationship. And if you're in NA or you need NA or AA, you got need recovery. You have that family that's a recovery and healthy relationship. These are the things. It's just like a circle that you're putting yourself in. You got the tools to make you be successful. You got the tools to be helpful, so you can be a successful person in society. And that's our goal. That we want to help you. And we just came to you today, and we thank you for listening in. I know people will subscribe. We hope for you to subscribe. This is something we're going to be doing later, and continue to do topics, different lemon topics. And when you look at my YouTube, Sandra Renee Stanley Ministries, you'll see other really topics people aren't talking about openly. And we want to share some of those. If you have some topics you like to hear, and we have so many great friends like Dr. Hall, I do, that we can get on here and talk about that, put it out there, give you some resources. And you can reach me. You can reach us at Opening Doors for Women in Need. You can reach me there. Call the office. Go to go to the website, or just call in if you want to talk to me. Just call in and leave a message for me. So we thank you for tuning in today, and thank you, Dr. Hall, for using your wonderful time.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Love you too.
Would you like to say anything to them?
Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for listening.